eventually was just like, dude, I need to take a break from this. And then with coronavirus, that kind of helped me low key
Yeah.
get like an excuse to like step away from the scene for a minute.
Dude, how's your
'Cause, dude,
coronavirus been?
what's that?
How's your coronavirus been?
It's been kind of weird, dude. Like I feel like my life kept progressing, and that was
Yeah.
just like a nuisance kind of in the background. Like I tried not to let it stop me.
Dude, if anything, I feel like I grew more. Like I
Yeah,
like
honestly,
started
I
the
was about to say.
podcast, like was able to like focus on like what I need to focus on, like without the extra distraction of like going out every week and like
Right. Yeah, like between like June and September, I probably made more music than I've ever made, and it was because I just graduated college,
Yeah.
so I didn't have a job yet, and I was like looking for a job, but I didn't have one yet, and I was still getting unemployment too because I had just been fired from like my last job, and I was just chilling at home making music all fucking day, and it was amazing.
That's
I was
dope.
like, yeah, so I had a good coronavirus, I'd say.
Yeah, same. I've actually kind of enjoyed it. I like my
I'm
alone
hoping
time.
it's over though soon.
Same. Yeah, I'm
I
ready to
wanted
get back
to,
out. I'm ready to get
yeah.
back to music, and my
Me
my
too.
plan is I'm gonna be moving to LA for Icon Collective Music Business School.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, so that's my
Not
plan
even to
for
make music, just to do the
music
business?
business. Yeah,
Oh shit,
yeah,
that's fucking tight.
it's their new program that they're offering. So I'm
That's
gonna
cool
be
as
moving
hell.
down to LA, but I think depending on when COVID ends, I think I'm gonna take like 6 months before I actually move down there because
Hmm.
they're on quarter system, so they have like every season they start a new quarter.
Right.
So I was like, my original plan was starting in January, but if it doesn't end till like December, I want like a good 6 months to like spend with my friends and stuff. Cause like I don't
Yeah.
know, I may move down there and not ever move back. Like I'll come
Yeah,
back to visit, but
that's the goal, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm already recording, so let's jump into this
All right,
interview.
yeah, let's jump into it.
So
I'm ready.
why don't you? We've been chatting obviously for a little while. I'm going to include all of this, but why don't you give us a little bit of intro for yourself? Name, where you're from, how old you are, blah blah
All right. My name's Tommy Thompson. That's why I go by Thompson.
blah.
um, I grew up in Lake Tahoe. Went to school in UNR, University of Nevada, Reno. Now I live in Reno full time. Um, Started going to raves when I was like 14 years old. Like
Same.
probably way too young to be out there doing that. Um, and then I remember like always in the back of my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make music. So my dad's a musician, my grandpa's a musician. Actually, in the mix you're gonna hear, it's a remix of a track my grandpa made in the '60s.
Oh, so it was at the
Yeah,
start. I opened and listened to the first part of it. Was that the first song?
yeah. The very first song
Sick.
as you click play
That's
is
awesome.
my grandpa from the '60s, like
Awesome.
recorded and like he like got to open for the Beatles at one point, and
Oh, that's dope.
like yeah, he's been in it, and then my dad same way. Always been in music. So in the back of my head, I was always like, oh yeah, I could be a musician, or like, yeah, I'll get around to it. But I was just so focused on like school,
Yeah.
growing up and like playing sports and chasing girls around
and
and whatever else, playing video games.
now you finally have you're stuck on one girl, so
Yeah, exactly. Less time to be running around.
right.
um,
Um,
but
go
no,
ahead.
I think probably like it was like the summer of my freshman year. I went to Bumbershoot up in Seattle
Oh yeah, I've heard of
for
it.
my 19th birthday,
Sick.
and I saw Porter Robinson set,
Oh,
and I was
first
like,
festival, Porter Robinson, so dope.
no, not my first festival.
Oh,
I had been to a couple festivals before, and like
gotcha,
I was like running around in like the Bass Nectar shows when I was in like my freshman year of high school.
gotcha.
So I had been like in the rave scene, listening to EDM and shit for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't start personally. I didn't start going to. I went to my first event like the year I graduated from high school, so I was like 17.
really,
And then I went 2 weeks after the same group that I went with invited me to go to base camp in Tahoe. You probably very familiar
yeah.
with that.
See, I've been to Base Camp,
Yeah,
Snow Globe.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I just went.
Tahoe weirdly has a big scene for EDM.
They
So
do, they do. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but someone coming up that's kind of big who kind of opened for Nightmare at the Park and Rave. I have
oh
him coming
really?
up on the show, but he is signed under Basecamp Records, so it's kind
Oh
of
wow,
cool.
that's crazy. I didn't even know they had a record label.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So they don't have like anyone like too crazy big, but they do have some like up and coming artists.
Is it Preston?
No,
Oh,
no.
Okay.
That'd
Not
be
to spoil it too much.
that'd be dope. But no, it's
Yeah.
not. I do know him though. I know him pretty well.
Really?
I've hung out with him at like 3 or 4 shows. But
Yeah. I've always heard from everyone he's a down to earth guy. He's involved in the local scene quite a bit. So.
yeah, yeah. Is he from there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's why I was like, I've heard so many different things about
Yeah.
Tahoe and him. So yeah.
I've met him a couple times, but I don't think enough for where he'd be like, "Oh, I know you."
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you have to tell him like, oh yeah, hung out with you here. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh yeah, and he's just gonna pretend. He's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I totally remember you."
Right.
Even though I meet a million people all the time.
Right.
But yeah, I don't take that stuff personally.
Yeah, his career's freaking taken off, man.
Yeah, he's doing incredible things. It's really awesome.
He's signed with Wakan now, and
Yeah.
So, anyways, story of us. I'm gonna tell our listeners. We met at the Bluebird in Reno. I was there with my ex-girlfriend, and then mutual friend of ours. Jahari actually, Lucid Absinthe. Do you know him? He was opening, and then it was just a random I didn't even know he was opening that night, and then we were there to see Nitty Gritty, which. I don't know. You tell me what your opinion is on this.
Nitty Gritty went off.
Yeah. So that's why we were there. But and then I texted Jahari like that morning, and I was like, dude, like I didn't know you were playing the show. He like posted something about it, and then I showed up, and we were there early, and then you were playing, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? Like, your music is dope. So immediately, like, instant fan. And then we actually met in the bathroom, like shortly after.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, that set was dope. Like, blew my mind. And we kind of, I was working for what you were talking about at the beginning of this, talking about me working for Olympus and everything that happened there. But we were trying to link up, and I was trying to get it possibly on the lineup. I was talking to the owners and stuff about it, but stuff kind of fell through with that.
Yeah. And then coronavirus hit like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, really, yeah. So, and the coronavirus hit, and then we're finally doing this podcast, and we're like able to work together. So I'm ecstatic to have you on the show, man. Be able to actually freaking talk to you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while since we talked. That's sick. But yeah, it's kind of weird thinking back to that because I had so much momentum moving forward. Like, I was finally getting myself on shows. I was finally like being able to play my music instead of just showing up to the club and playing house for an hour or whatever. And like people were recognizing me. People in the scene, would be like, "Oh, dude, I saw you at this place, or I saw you at this place, and oh, what's your SoundCloud or what's your Instagram?" And I like saw it happening for me, and then
like, oh, growth, yes.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like. Because I've been doing this now for 6 years, so it was like
that's about as long as I've even been attending raves, I think.
Yeah, so I'm 23 years old, almost 24, and I've been doing this since I was 18.
Wow. Okay.
So I've almost done it for 6 years now. Like
I've been in the scene for a minute. We're pretty much on the similar timeline. Just me, I didn't figure out this is what I wanted to do for a career until way later. But yeah, as far as being an attendee and like really into the scene, it's been about the same time. Because we're the same age. I thought you were older than I was.
10. No, we're the same age. I'm pretty young. Yeah. I look like I'm like 17. But yeah, I don't know. It had been a long time, and then like pressure had kind of built up, and people were starting to like recognize me. I got like some pretty big labels to sign some of my stuff, and then
which one's in specific, if you don't mind me asking?
Like, do you know Sus Collective?
Yep.
Yeah, so they signed one of my tracks. That was a big one for me. And then me and Cambot got Cream signed to Yeah. And then
you know what? I'm gonna play that song real quick. So
okay, yeah.
Let's cut to that.
So people can hear it.
Yeah.
Plans to make cream.
tell us a little bit about like how you guys wrote that and the backstory on that.
So me and Cambot grew up playing like baseball and basketball and stuff against each other. We grew up in two small towns. He grew up in Truckee. I grew up in Tahoe,
Okay.
in a small town called Incline.
Yep.
And we were like rival high schools, rival middle schools. I always knew him as like this blonde kid that like was really good at sports, and he was like this random kid from Incline that was really good at sports, kind of. And then we got to college, and I was closer with one of his other friends. Shout out to Matt Bush. And he like was hanging. We were just kind of hanging out, like just partying and being in college and like trying to figure out college.
Right.
And then I somehow found out that he made music, and like he was further ahead of me at the time. So I like didn't really want to try and work with him because we were friends. Like we'd go golfing and stuff and hang out on the weekends and drink and go party. And so I didn't want to be like, yo, let's make music, because I didn't really know what I was doing yet.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was like, okay, why haven't we made music? Like I was getting stuff signed to smaller labels. He was getting stuff signed to smaller labels. We were both playing shows. Like we were both kind of gaining traction. I had like a couple thousand views on most of my tracks. He had a couple thousand views on most of his tracks. And I was like, dude, let's hang out. So he came over. We made a couple of tracks that we were like,
yeah.
But we got like a workflow going.
That's dope.
And then he came over and we just, we're just honestly shooting the shit. When me and Cambot link, it's like therapeutic. We don't even talk to each other. I'll just be like, all right, you take the sticks for, 20 minutes, and he'll be like, dude, I'm stuck on this. I'm like, okay. And I just come back and like one of us is like rolling a joint, the other person like drinking. Like we just have fun with it. We turn it into our own little party. And
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things I think talked about when I talk to other producers too, is like, how do you get into that workflow?
Yeah.
Like it's challenging
weird.
for especially a lot of like underdeveloped, writers and stuff and producers.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in that workflow. So that's dope that you found it, and you were able to do that with someone else too. So
yeah. And collabing is like a whole different art.
Oh yeah.
It's extremely hard to collab.
I've talked about this in previous episodes, but there's a lot of power in collaboration, but it's also like really tricky.
You have to like really learn to humble yourself.
Yeah.
That was like hard for me, because I'd be like, dude, this sounds good. But I can like feel from his vibe. It's like, I don't think it sounds good. And it's like, all right, well, fuck, we gotta restart. Like, I'm wrong. But it's hard because you don't want to be wrong. Like when it's your art, you want to like, it's like, no, it sounds good to me. Like,
right.
But it's finding that like, no, it sounds good to both of us. Then it's going to sound good to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with that song, that track. And then it did really well and got a bunch of plays. And I remember I walked into the Bluebird on a random weekend, and they were like giving me shit at the door. And I was like really broke at the time. And I was not about to go to a show and pay money to get in. Like I didn't have the money. And so I had a guest list spot from, I think it was Cambot actually. No, it couldn't have been, because someone played his track. So I forget who it was, but someone had like hooked it up, and my name was on the lineup under Tomsin. And I was trying to convince this person, like, I am Tommy Tomsin. I go by Tomsin as a DJ. I'm like trying to show them my Instagram, because they're like, your ID doesn't say Tomsin. And I'm like trying to like get this door girl, like, please just let me in. Like, I don't have any money. I'm just going to be here to like support my friend, and I'm going to leave. It's just me. Yeah. Please let me through the door. Yeah. And then literally my song comes on, and like,
I wrote that.
and like 4 or 5 other people, I like look up, and like a couple of people who like whatever had like watched me walk through the door or something, like turned and were like pointing at me. And this one kid like ran up and was like, let's go, and like grabbed me. And then the door lady, I think, was just like, oh, okay, like, like just let him go. Because
Tomsin, Tommy Tomsin, what? They're all the same thing, dude.
Like, yeah. But she was just like really holding it over me. I was stuck at that door for probably like 5 minutes, super embarrassed, because it's only like a $20 cover. But at that time I was like, I literally have $9 in my bank account. Like, I'm not giving you $20 to get in. I can't.
Yeah.
I would have.
Not possible.
Yeah. And so then I like ran in, and like I like ran right on stage, and I was just like, and the DJ that was playing like looked at me. He was like, what the heck are you doing? And I was like, I'm Tomsin. And he was like, let's go. They're hanging out. So then, awesome. And he like played out the track, and and afterwards, like he came out and got me actually, and like brought me into the green room, and
That's
was
dope.
like, "Yo,
Just kicking it.
I like your music," and I was like, that was like one of the coolest moments for me
Yeah.
ever.
That
So
that was kind of my knee jerk reaction when I first heard you two. I was just like, dude, I need this guy. I need this guy in my life. Like,
that's like what every artist is trying to do though, because I'm just
yeah.
like I'm just trying to put the energy that I have like into the crowd. And like
Well,
I know
and
you've seen me perform. I go
oh
fucking
yeah,
hard on stage. I'm
yeah,
like dripping in
absolutely,
sweat and stuff.
yeah,
So I'm just like giving everything I have in that moment, all the
yeah.
energy I have.
And your sound is freaking unique. Like that's one thing
Thank
that
you.
a lot of people are like just trying to make like copycat like what's already made. And it's like,
Right,
okay, yeah, no, if that's what you really like making, like go for it. I'm not gonna stop you from your
right,
creativity,
right.
but what really sets an artist apart and what helps them like grow and develop their own like sound and their own brand and everything like that is being unique, creating like your own
Yeah.
style within the scene, making that space for yourself in the scene. So,
I mean, that was something I worked at though. It didn't come
yeah,
naturally.
yeah,
I mean, not at first, and then I
yeah,
knew what I was doing. But like, I remember I took like a 3 month break from listening to EDM at all. I was like, I'm just not gonna listen to EDM. I'll listen to like the rap music I grew
yeah,
up with, and I like went back to like the punk rock bands I used to grow up listening to, and like a lot of like Beatles and just like Mac Miller. Like I
yeah.
just stopped and listened to all of this stuff that I grew up with, and I was like, how do I make these emotions with EDM music? Because that's what I was like really
And
focused on.
that's what made you a powerful producer.
Yeah, I guess that's what made me a producer. Until then,
Yeah,
I was just like a cookie cutter.
right.
Yeah,
A lot of people, I feel like, yeah, kind of get stuck in that. Like,
yeah, it's hard.
it's not
And
getting traction. It's not getting traction. It's like, yeah, because it sounds like Excision.
yeah, if you're copying it, it's like, dude, it sounds like a worse excision. Like I'm
Right?
just
Yeah,
excision. Like
yeah,
you're like chopping up the same samples and putting them in worse arrangements. Like I'm
right,
gonna just go listen to the
right.
original guy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's
um,
nothing wrong with that because you have to. Like I said, I've been doing it almost 6 years now. Like I had my 2 or 3 years where I did that too. So
yeah. So you said in your post that I saw the other day about your announcement for you being on the podcast, you haven't put out any music in a little over a year.
yeah,
What's
over a
the
year now.
story? What's the story with that? Is it linked to
So
COVID? Is it what's the deal?
this
with
is
that?
like it's kind of a lot. So I'll start here. When I was in the scene, it was like weirdly competitive for a minute, and
Yeah,
like I didn't want to be compared to everyone else. It was like, oh, you're in the DJ scene, so like, oh well, there's this guy in the DJ scene. Do you know him? And it's like, and they'd be like, oh, this guy's on the bill, and I'd be like, and people would like look at me like, why aren't you on the bill? And it's like, because I'm not
yeah.
like
Because I'm not. I don't
because I'm
know.
not the one on it, and then I would like show up to the concerts and stuff, and it'd be like these other DJs would be like looking down on me like, oh, I'm going into the green room and you're not, and blah blah. And it eventually at first I was like kind of brushing it off, and then this one kid who I won't mention like names or anything, but
Yeah.
he came up to me and like said, he was like, everyone in the scene hates you because of this, and like you need to change this part about yourself. And
I ain't changing shit. Sorry.
I was like, dude, I've fucking talked to you like 3 times with blaring ass music in the
Yeah.
background. Like, how can you come up to me and act like you know me at all? And it's like you're judging me off of like Instagram posts and like what you've heard from other people because you don't know me.
Yeah.
So, like, and I just realized I was like, okay, I need to take a step back and get used to people like hating.
Yep.
That's something I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
And
That.
like when I was small,
something
I
that
didn't
I-
have it.
That's something that I've faced too. Even just starting, like I'm not even a producer, but just starting, getting my feet in the door of the industry and
Right.
creating this podcast and like a lot of times like it's how you take criticism too. It's like, okay, people are going to give you feedback or criticism or whatever, or hate on
Right.
you but it's like, okay, let's listen to this. And then, depending on how you feel about what they're
Right.
saying.
I mean, you can criticize
either-
my music all you want, but
Yeah.
don't come and try and criticize my personality.
Right,
Like,
right,
I
right.
literally am who I am as a person. Like,
yeah.
not that I'm not trying to like better myself and stuff, but
Right.
don't come and like try.
Yeah, yeah.
We met each other 4 times. Like my best friends can come up and criticize who I am as a person. If you're not one of those people,
Yeah.
like you don't get to do that.
If you're not in the
You don't
top
have
5 of
that
my
right.
life, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah,
feel it.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can talk shit about my music all you want. Like even
Right.
I hate my music sometimes. So
Right.
I'd be like, yeah, you're right. But to come and try and like talk to me on a personal
Yeah.
level when you don't know me like that. So that's why I had to take a break at first. I had to step back out of the scene and be like, I need to get ready for that because before I was just playing games. Now I'm trying to make it a career. Now I'm trying to grow. Now I'm like trying to invest in this and become something with this. And that was like a taste,
Yeah.
and it hurt a lot. I was like, whoa, I was not prepared for this. And so I was like, okay, well, if this is how it's going to be, I'm going to take a step back. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to take like 2 months off and just make music, not perform any shows. And then I was like, okay, well, no one's going to perform shows now for like 2 months.
Right.
And then 2 months turned into
A year.
now we're like a year and a half later. Yeah. And it's not that I can't be releasing music, but like there was like riots going on and all this shit.
Yeah,
and, like,
it was nuts.
I almost forgot about that. Like the first like 8 months of quarantine, there was like riots.
Yeah.
Like California's on fire. All this shit. Like who wants to see some fucking DJ posting like go listen to my track? No, like no one
Yeah.
gave a fuck in that moment about what you were making or what you were doing or like. And
It's
so
funny.
I just
It's funny that you say that too, because I feel like a lot of DJs that stayed relevant on social media, they were just putting themselves in like that's all they were posting about. That's all anyone was posting about.
Yeah.
It's like you got to. It's almost like kind of in a weird way, like a weird marketing tactic. Like if these are what you need to post, you know.
And then it's like you also like you can't post your opinion if it does not fit this very specific like narrow-minded view of like this perception of the world.
I just didn't post
which also made me uncomfortable. So, like if I always just try to bring it like as facts, like what's happening right now is legitimately messed up because like look at this and like it should be illegal because of this. Like when the cops were stopping protests and stuff, like I did debate team for the Constitution. I have some background knowledge on the fact that that is completely unconstitutional. There's like case law to support it. And I would post stuff like that, but I wasn't about to put an opinion out in the air because it's not my place anyway. So
so since we're talking about debate team and stuff, what did you graduate college with?
I graduated with a degree in finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So in my regular day-to-day life, I was a financial analyst. Now I'm a sales executive.
Okay.
But I went from being like really, really poor to like now I have like a solid, good job and like, which is like so much better for the music and the art and everything because
you have money to put into it now.
Well, not only that, but like when it like I was in like a really depressed state right around that same time that I was going to stop. People are always talking shit about me in the music scene. Or at least that's my perception. Now looking back, like probably not, but it was enough. It was more people than I was used to talking shit about me. So it hurt at the time. And my confidence was super low, just like in general because of that. And then I had like no money. So I was always struggling to try and like pay rent. And like, I like really never had stable income up until like August-ish.
Okay.
And then,
congrats.
And I got a really good job, and I was like, "Well, this is cool." And then I was like, "Oh, I can put gas in my car whenever I want.
Yeah.
Like I can fucking go out to eat with my friends. I can do whatever." It was like so freeing, and then that started this like spiral of healthy creative energy, like good mental state, like eating better, and I wish I could say working out. That's what I'm working on now. I have like mental health and like. Now I need physical health.
That's what I was. I asked him to push back the interview 15 minutes. I was actually working out right before this interview. So
yeah, good for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's really good because I grew up playing sports and stuff, so I was always super athletic.
Yeah.
And then now I like feel like I'm just like
opposite of that,
wasting time.
Right.
I should be doing something. I'm in my mid-20s. I should be in like peak health.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I mean, again, another thing I've said in other episodes, but kind of my backstory is I can right after high school, actually right when I first started going to like EDM events and stuff. It's kind of funny because fitness and EDM kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
So I competed in bodybuilding for 3.5 years.
Oh shit.
So I actually did the a show in Reno. I forget which one it was called, but I've competed in Reno.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
competed.
damn. I'm not even trying to get to that level. I just like work
Yeah.
out regularly. So
So,
that's awesome.
but I fell off. Like I stopped because I just I needed to get a job. I needed to pay buy my first car. I
Yeah.
needed to get stuff going in my life, and I knew it wasn't going to be like a forever thing anyway. So I was like, okay, like I had my run.
See, that's like exactly where I was at with music. Like
Yeah.
the situation you just described, same thing. It was like, okay, I need to like get my life together. I can't just sit around, smoke weed, and drink wine all day. As much as I'd love to. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, no, I need to actually like become an adult.
Right.
And so that was a big hump. That's kind of what I spent the last year doing.
Yeah.
But
So
also
yeah,
making a ton of music.
yeah, it's dope. I'm excited to hear a lot of it. But yeah, so then I stopped competing, and then got I was working for my dad and stuff, and then now I'm at Amazon. But yeah, I was gonna agree with the financial freedom finally. Of,
Yeah.
I'm during this COVID time. I was living out in the Bay Area, obviously, but moved back and live with my parents now, and preparing for LA and having a full-time
That's a
job.
big jump.
It's allowing me to save up a ton of money to be able to actually be able to like live comfortably and not have to worry about too much when I move down to LA. So
yeah, kind of float for a little bit.
yeah, and it was weird too. I'm glad you stayed with the whole music thing, even though you did kind of go through that time in your life, because I know it kind of
circle.
The passion kind of switched for me. It was like I'm very like chase bodybuilding, chase this, and then I learned what I needed to from that, and then kind of took a couple years to get my life together, and now I'm putting all of that same energy into music.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. That's kind of what I did with sports though too, because growing up I always thought I'd be like. I remember at like 7 years old, I told my mom I was like, I'm gonna play pro baseball, and like that was my mindset till like 18, and then eventually I was like, no, I'm probably not going to do that. And then I like went to college and I was like, holy crap, I'm just like all of these other people. Like, how am I gonna, like, I don't want to be a normal person. Like,
right.
I want to stand out. I want to like, I wear bright pink on Instagram and like go to work and look at with like ripped up jeans and stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to stand out. Like, I don't want to be like other people.
Yeah.
And that was always a good thing.
Music is a perfect avenue. I'm the exact same way, and it's a perfect avenue to just be like, I can be whoever the hell I want to be.
Exactly. This is my world. This is what I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
So
and being an entrepreneur and doing that aspect of it is just and for me, luckily, I have such a business mindset that it's just like
me too.
I have so much fun with all of this stuff. It's great.
I love it, and there is a business aspect to it that I think a lot of artists just don't want to recognize.
There's a huge portion. Like that's the portion that I feel most creative in.
Right, because that's what you're studying.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of artists struggle with that. It's like, it's like I just want it to, happen. It's like, well, it probably won't.
Right.
It might though.
Yeah.
But it probably won't.
So let's I have another question for you. What was one of the most memorable and greatest achievements as an artist so far for you?
Honestly,
you might have already covered it, but
that story about walking in and hearing my song play and like I'm literally trying to get past the door and stuff.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I had like a random kid hit me up on Facebook and tell me, he was like, dude, thank you so much for making your music. I don't know if you know me or have noticed, but like I really love it, blah blah. And he like sent me this whole thing about how he had been depressed and he had like had all of these things going on, and he just kept listening to one of my songs. Miss You.
Sick.
Yeah, because
I love that song. I was listening to it earlier today. Yeah.
And he like said he had someone pass, and he was like, I've just been listening to that song, and like it's been getting me through it. And that was another really cool moment.
Most people don't even get. I mean, a lot of top artists get stuff like that, but like especially underground artists are not quite at that level yet. Like people never get that. So that's
it's
super
cool because it's like maybe I don't have a big outreach, but at least I know the people I'm reaching. It's like it's really affecting their life. So like if I find someone like who has a business degree in music marketing, it's like, okay, well, if you can get my music out to people, like I know that it connects with some of them. So now it's just a numbers game of getting it out, because that's what I struggle with most. Like the majority of the time when I show my music to people, they literally like, it'll like change how they act around me. Like I'm serious. Like one of my coworkers like heard my song and he was looking at me. He was like, dude, like I feel like I need to like tell you something. Like, I don't, like, I feel like you're famous or something. I was like, no, like, I'm literally completely normal. You've known me now for months.
Yeah.
But I could see the look in his eyes. He was like, what the hell? Like, no way. Because
Yeah.
most people, they'll be like, dude, I make music. Here it is. And it's just like really bad.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there like, you made this. Like, you made this? You made this? I was like, yes, dude. I'm gonna keep telling you, yes, I did it. Like, they don't get it. So I feel like what I'm missing is I need someone to be like, yo, this is how you get music into people's ears. This is what you need to do.
So
and that part's a little elusive,
here's the official starting ground with you and I then.
Yeah, right.
Give me another year and a half, and I got you.
Yeah, and I'm open to bringing in as many people as I can. I'd love for it to be a team effort. It's too much work for me. So.
It should be a team effort. Most of the top producers have a team, full team.
Oh, all of the top guys have like a full team, like 3-4 people at least.
Yeah.
So you need like a photographer, you need a manager, you need a marketing guy, someone to playlist plug, and that costs money too. But luckily, I'm starting to get to the point where I have savings and can maybe,
So you were just saying how you've gotten really amazing feedback with your music. Where do you get your inspiration when you're writing? Where when you sit down to write? Yeah, just from your life.
Yeah, like what? I mean, for instance, so to kind of come full circle, I was going to say this earlier, actually. I wrote a song about wanting to quit making music before taking this break. I sat down. I literally texted my now fiance, girlfriend at the time, and was like, babe, I'm done making music. I'm over it. I'm sick of all these people like sending me hate mail, and I'm just sick of this. Like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm not having fun with it anymore. I'm done with the EDM scene. I'm done with bass music, blah, blah. I'm not making it anymore. And I remember her replying like, take a couple days, but I know you're wrong. There's no way you're quitting music. Like, and she's been there since before I started making it.
That is why there's a ring on her finger.
She was basically like, honestly, Tommy, I know you're being a little dramatic. You're feeling a little down, whatever, but you're just telling me lies, basically. Yeah. She put it nicer, but she's basically like, yeah, right. And then I literally read that text and I was like, yeah, who am I fucking kidding? And I was like, I'm just going to write a song about that. Yeah. Like, wanting to quit. And so I wrote this song about like a girl, but the girl being music. And I like personified music, and it's like the chorus is no sleep since the day you met me, because it's like it was keeping me up at night. Mm-hmm. Like, it just that turned into inspiration for a song, and then turned into sounds, and that was the first song I ever made with my voice. And now, like, that's something that I also want to talk about why I'm taking a break and haven't released anything. Is I'm sitting on like 15 fully polished, ready to release EDM tracks, and like 15 fully polished, ready to release pop songs where I'm the singer. So
sick.
And like, not like some corny, like weird, like DJ decides to become a singer thing. Like, no, like actual legit polished songs.
That's awesome. That's cool that you're building up a catalog too of like, you have shit ready.
I have a huge catalog right now.
Yes.
And I was like playing this song. So one of the kids that went to my high school, we weren't super close in high school, but his dad is David Coverdale.
I don't know if I'm familiar with it. Who's that?
He's the lead singer of Whitesnake. The song. Oh
shit! Yeah.
Yeah. So he makes music out here as well. This is another one of my big moments, actually, is to actually answer your question. His son found out I was making music and was like, reached out to one of my other friends, Nikki, who's featured on that I Miss You song. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I want to make music with Tommy, but I don't really know him. You're closer to him. Like, and Nikki was like, dude, literally text him. Like, hit him up on Instagram. Like, Tommy. And if you meet me, it makes more sense, because like, you could be a random stranger, hit me up on Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, we can be homies. Like, what's up? You know? But he did, and he like came over here, he was kind of nervous, and I was stoked because I was like, I'm going to make music with someone new. This is cool. I get to see some ideas. And then he was like, dude, you need to meet my dad. And I was like, of course, I would love to. Yeah. And I like walk into his recording house. He has like a house that's all one just for recording. And it's like awesome. A mansion. It's super cool. And
That's dope.
and like Jasper brought me there for the first time, and I walk in, there's literally platinum records on the wall as I'm walking in. And I'm like, oh my God. And there's like signed
Am I
stuff.
in heaven?
Yeah, there's like guitars that John Lennon played, and like it, like Carlos Santana, and all
Oh,
this stuff, and hit him with pictures of like presidents. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this guy has literally achieved my dream come true,
yeah.
it tenfold. Like he's got it all. He's in the Rockstar Hall of Fame, and he's about to be in it again for a different band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's sick.
incredible. And he walks in, and he's in like full Balenciaga, like just looks like a rock star, like wearing sunglasses inside. He like walks up, and he's like, Jasper showed me your music. He has like this thick British accent that I won't try to imitate, but he's like, Jasper showed me your music. And like shakes my hand. He was like, congratulations, this is incredible work, this is amazing work, blah blah. And I was like, about to pee my pants, like borderline in tears, because my dad like looks up to this guy. My dad, when he found out I was going, was like crying. He was so proud.
That's dope.
And I walk into this nice studio, and it's like fully sound treated. There's huge speakers. I can turn this up like louder than my ears can even handle. And I was like, can I like play you some of this other music that's like not, it's pop music, it's not this other bass music? And he was like, absolutely. And he sits down, and I play him this song, which is the song I'm going to release next. And I put it at the end of the mix that I sent you.
Sweet.
And I like played it for him, and he was like, do you have a lawyer? I was like, no. He was like, do you have a manager? I was like, no. He was like, you need to start getting that stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know. He was like, you don't have a PR person, nothing. And he's like saying all these things. I'm like starting to get overwhelmed. Like, I just make music. Like, I don't have anything. And he was like, well, what are you going to do with all the royalties, blah, blah. And he's like acting like this is just going to be this big popular song. And I'm sitting there like, and finally I like cut him off for a minute, and kind of was like, it was like the star shakenness, like shaked off. And I like saw him as a real person. I was like, David, I've literally made $11 from this tops.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, well, I think you're going to make a bunch. And I was like, okay, now maybe I'm doing something that's worth like pursuing. And
that's dope.
And he's been helping me out a bunch now. Like, I like flew out to Hollywood, stayed with his son, Jasper. Jasper's like a really good buddy now. We've become like, he's like seriously one of my best friends now. So
that's sick.
It's really cool.
That's
and
a
lot
huge
of my best
moment.
friends are from music.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. Frick, you know, a lot of, probably at least 90% of my friends are all within the music industry now. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy knowing like, and it's cool too, because it's like now it's really truly becoming like my whole life. So
yeah, starting to absorb you.
Yeah. Like, oh, finally. And it's like you have those moments where you're like, you look back at what has happened and how far you've come, and you're like, I've had a lot of those moments lately, especially with, you know, now starting my own company and like this podcast and whatnot. It's like, I'm really like, this is my life. What is happening? Yeah.
That's kind of crazy for me too, because like I really did take this year off, and now when I'm coming back to it, like this interview, I is making me think back, and it's like, damn, I did accomplish a lot. Like, but I needed that break. It was good, because now I'm like eager. I cannot wait to I can't wait to go out there. Like, my mindset changed completely too, because I was like, I realized, I was like, I hope people sit around and talk shit about me. Like, I hope they do, because
hey, it's still
I'm
PR,
starting
man.
a conversation. Like, I'm literally from my house, from my room, I'm starting all these conversations with all of these different friend groups and all of these different people, and they can all have their opinions, but they're all going to be talking about me, and I am not going to be sitting in my house talking about them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
even I mean, and you I mean, I watch a lot of like business interviews and stuff like that, and you'll hear like really successful people, like, it's almost a good thing for people to talk bad about you. It means you're doing something right, for one, and for two, it's giving you free freaking like publicity. Yeah. Like, so like, who cares?
Exactly. Like, I was explaining that or my fiance rather was explaining that to me. She was like, think about it. If someone likes your music, they're probably just going to like it on Spotify and
Yep.
like in their playlist. She was like, if someone hates you and hates your music, you must be doing something that brings out something in them where they're going to talk to everyone they know about you. And all of those people are going to want to like you because their friend is like, oh, this guy sucks. Like, and then they're setting the expectations super low. And then you play the music on top of that. She was like, they're going to convert more fans than anyone else. Like, you need those people that hate you. I was like, okay.
Well, look at even freaking like Britney Spears when she shaved her head and all the bad PR.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just using that as an example, but it's like
it
she like blew up even more.
Kanye does it he'll literally not post on social media, and everyone falls for it every time. He just comes back and says the most heinous things, like, because he knows it's like, oh, people are just gonna sit here and talk about how Kanye did this and Kanye did that, and he doesn't have to pay for marketing, he doesn't have to pay for publicity, and then he's like, oh, by the way, drop my album today, and I'll see you guys in a year.
Right? Bye. Yeah, make him night job so easy.
It works every time.
Yep. So let's get into a little bit more about you. What do you do outside of the music industry, like for yourself? What are your hobbies outside of it, if any?
Right now, I pretty much just work, but I'm grinding it out because it's worth it. But I like to snowboard. I love going out to eat.
Dude, we gotta go snowboarding.
I grew up snowboarding. Like,
I'm super down.
Yeah. Anytime you want, dude, come up.
I'm gonna have to. If we do that, I'm gonna have to bring you wakeboarding. I come from a wakeboarding family, so.
Oh, I love wakeboarding.
We'll take you out.
I grew up like surfing, wakeboarding, skating, snowboarding. So I still do all that stuff.
Sweet.
Played a lot of sports, but now I don't do that as much. So kind of focus more on like the freestyle things that you can do on your own.
Right.
I have 2 younger brothers, so I like taking them to do stuff. My 14-year-old brother's like doing backflips off jumps, and my little he's 8 years old now, 7, maybe 7. I should know this, but
come on, older brother, what are you doing?
I know. But he's a shredder too. Like he drops in like 5-foot ramps and like
sick.
Yeah, he's insane. So I like going out and hanging out with them. I'm really close to my family, so I like seeing them as much as possible. I like having people over, dude. I like hosting.
Yeah.
Like,
I know that's one thing. I used to. I was trying to get you out to one of my parties, but
I know.
Full
I know,
like.
I wish I could have.
My house was like an 8-hour lineup, like a full like rave in my living room. And
that sounds so fun.
Yeah, with like 70 people, it was great. And I had I was living at the time in like a 5-bedroom, like 3-bath house, so it was like plenty of space.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I miss about doing, living on my own. But
no, I like hosting people.
Yeah.
I like playing games and hanging out. And
even the small stuff, like when you're like just invite some friends over, especially now that you have a fiance, it's like just hang out with like your close friends and watch a movie or play games or whatever. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
too.
Play board games.
It's hard for me to freaking find time though, man, with full-time work and then running my own business practically now, and I'm still in school, so I'll be getting my associates. I took some time off, so we're the same age, but I'm way behind the curve on that.
College.
Yeah, so I'll be getting my associates this summer.
I hated college. I barely made it out. I'm not even joking. I failed like 5 classes.
Oh.
I was a straight A student in high school too. Like I just hated college courses. College courses. College was fun as hell.
Right. That time of my life was great, but
that time of my life
was great. Yeah.
But I was mainly focused on music and like
I
don't know. I honestly think maybe it slowed me down. Like maybe I would have been established if I just committed all the way to doing music.
Everyone has their own journeys though, man. All things happen for a reason.
And I needed to be older. I wasn't ready to be trusted with that level.
Right.
Just wasn't.
Yeah. I definitely feel it. Looking back at where I was at 18, 19, I was like, doing what I'm doing now, there's no way.
Dude, and now my mentality switched. Like when I was 18, I was like, oh, I'm so grown now. Like living on my own.
Yeah.
I'm only 23. I don't know shit. Like people would be like, what do you think about this? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm 23. Like,
like talking politics, starting to talk politics and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't even vote, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I know about politics. I like getting into not, like arguments, but I do like talking politics with people and stuff.
Yeah.
but without opinion. Like I just like hearing
Right.
what people think.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and like just play devil's advocate. Like
Right.
if you really like this candidate, I'll sit there and be like, oh, okay, well, did you know about this? Did you know about this? Because I think they all fucking suck. So
Yeah, true. True. We never have good options.
that's
True.
my mindset.
Yeah.
I think they're all low key like playing for the same team. Like
Honestly.
just I don't
There's
believe
some
it.
I feel like there's some behind the scenes
Me
BS.
too. I
Like,
just don't trust it.
yeah,
Yeah.
not at all.
Too much money, too much power. Anytime
Yeah.
you get that much money and power,
Yeah.
anything like you've seen it in the music scene.
Yep.
As soon as you start getting money involved, like the music scene's great, but then you meet the club owner and you're like, oh, whoa, this is
Yeah.
what's going on back here. Oh, I
Now
I see what you mean.
unfortunately, that's what sucks. Even in the business, any business really, is there's always a political side.
Yep.
Always.
There's always some shady shit going on.
Yep.
So why would the government be any fucking different? No.
Literally the worst.
The worst, probably.
Right.
Probably the most shady. Yeah, so I don't trust it at all. But I do love talking politics because I have a wealth of knowledge about like the political structure as a whole. So
Yeah. So you just got engaged. I want to know all the details about that. How long have you guys been together?
We've been together now for almost 6 years, 5.5.
Damn.
Long time.
It was definitely time then.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't decide like yesterday. I knew I was gonna propose to her for like 7 months.
Wow.
So
How did you decide on that? Like the timing of it and everything.
I mean, it just became at a certain point. I was like, we're joking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Like the real turning moment was I accidentally called her my wife, and I was like, okay, well now there's not gonna be a difference. Like if that's already my mindset, then
Yeah.
and like she was making hints, like like,
It's time.
are
It's
you
time.
ever gonna?
Hello.
Like, so do you think we're gonna get married? Because we're kind of getting older now. Like, I need to know. It was kind of like shit or get off the pot, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I need to move on to the next guy if you're not going to.
exactly. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But and then I don't know. I asked her dad, I asked her mom, and I was like, all right. They were like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
We would have stopped it by now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of funny because I did make like a big deal of it, but also like she knew it was coming. It wasn't. I never once wondered like, is she gonna say yes? It was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
you gotta say yes.
Yeah. That's a good spot to be in because it's like that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at with with that if and when that time comes in my life, which I hope it does. But just like I'm not asking unless I know it's like a 98% chance that you're gonna say yes.
It's like this is probably like she's probably gonna say yes.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 at least. Like yeah. So I mean
Sweet.
her whole family flew up for it and stuff. Like
Oh, dope.
I think by the time Christmas rolled around, like she said, so I'd obviously been acting weird for like a month leading up to it. Like I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to act weird, but like you do, you just can't help it. And then her whole family showed up and I tried to play it off like, oh, this is why I've been acting so weird. We were planning this. And she was like, but then my whole family showed up and all of them were acting weird towards me. Something was up. And I was like, well, good thing it was only like 2 days because
Yeah.
yeah. And
So
then
you'd start asking questions at that point if it was any longer.
but then I proposed to her and we're now engaged and planning a wedding. Planning a wedding is insane. Like
I bet.
it's a lot of work. I didn't know what I was signing up for.
Yeah,
So-
that's what everyone says. That's literally anyone who like has gotten married out of my friends that as of like the last couple of years, and they're like, dude, it's so much work. And I'm like, dude, and then the next step is you're gonna have a freaking kid.
Yeah.
you're even more, way more work.
yeah. Yeah, dude. But I don't
That's
know.
I'm cool staying single right now. Freaking, I need to get done with school. I want my career going. I want to be killing it, and then whenever that time is supposed to happen, it'll happen. But
That's kind of where I was at, though. I was like, I want to get school done. I want to be in a solid, good career. And like, I was like, okay, well, I did all of that, and I can afford a ring now for the first time. Before I wasn't even like,
absolutely not.
How am I going to get the money for a ring? I'm not going to buy a ring. Rings are expensive.
Yeah.
And then I finally was like, okay, well, I can do all of this, and like our bank account was already shared, like
Yeah,
She wasn't going anywhere.
yeah, no,
So,
yeah,
so it was pretty set in stone.
it was
Like
already
5
there.
years is
Yeah,
a long time in your life. So,
that's awesome.
but yeah,
I'm happy for you, dude.
I'm happy it's over because I had a lot of anxiety for like 6 months. Keep all this, keep the secret. Now I'm like, you go and plan the wedding. I'll hop in at some point,
Yep.
but I need like a break, like
Yep.
a mental break from planning all of this stuff. Because
Oh, and she, at the end of the day, we all know that's kind of the women's like
totally,
dream. So we're just the guy who shows up, I guess.
exactly, yeah. I'm basically just there to shake hands.
Right? You may kiss the bride. Now shake a bunch of hands.
And then I'm gonna have all my friends DJ, and it's gonna be lit.
Sick. Yes.
That's my part. I'm planning the honeymoon and the after party.
Yes. That's awesome. Those are the fun parts, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are the future plans for you as an artist coming up?
I'm about to go fucking balls to the wall, like full
Yes.
pedal, like
Yeah.
all gas, no brakes, and just see what happens. I'm gonna keep doing that for a couple of years and hope it turns into something for me. And if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have some kids
Yep.
and buy a boat and
Bye.
a nice house and still have a good life.
Yeah.
But keep me making music no matter what. I won't stop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so-
definitely like, even if you don't turn it into a career, it's still something you love to do. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I think I put a lot more pressure on it before when I had no money because I saw it as a way out.
Right.
And now it's like, no, this is not a way out of any sort of life. This is an expression of the one you already have. Like
Yep.
instead of trying to always be so forward focused, it was like now I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy the present moment. I just got engaged. I'm 23 years old.
Yeah.
I have a great job. I live in like with my best friend. I live in a nice house with my best friend and his girlfriend, who are also best friends with my fiance. Like my life's a party right now. This is everything I hoped it'd be 5 years ago. So I'm gonna take it in and enjoy it and hang out with my friends as much as possible and release as much music as I can and get drunk in my pajamas on the weekends and like just enjoy whatever it is. And before it was like I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to get all this stuff done. And now I'm like, I literally just need to make music when I want to and put it out and make music videos. I want to like that's a big thing. I want to be in front of the camera. I'm really good at dancing. Like that's where I started. So like being able to perform in that aspect is really cool. And yeah.
Sweet, man.
I want to be a little Justin Bieber.
Right.
So.
That's what I get called all the time since my
yeah, like at first I used to hate it because like I have the hair flip all the time.
Yeah.
I had it before and after him. Like that's just part of my
me.
life.
Yeah.
It grows out. Like I don't know what to tell you. But I also like could dance and was into music and stuff, so people always made fun of me for it. Then eventually I was like, Justin Bieber has the exact life I want.
Right.
He's a model, like driving $200,000 cars, living in a million dollar mansion, performing to the whole world at this point. Like,
and he's another prime example of a lot of people talk shit about him, and look how well he's doing. Yeah.
It's become like an inspiration for me
Yeah.
now. It's like, oh, he fucking did it right.
Yep.
Or at least
And the music he's making now is actually really freaking good.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly more similar to the music I'm making now too.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna be really surprised when you listen to this mix. You're gonna be like, I did not see this coming. It's gonna be funny because I'm gonna bounce back and forth. It'll be like, you're 1 minute you're listening to like pop music. I mean, I didn't put any of my pop music in it yet because that's like very personal. It's all about my life, and I'm gonna release it in a certain way on purpose. You can have it, of course.
Yeah.
Email you all of it. You can listen to it all you want. But before it's like released, I wanted the discography to go a certain way. And I also realized like people release music for like years before it even blows up. So I'm just painting the canvas and then I'll go try and sell the canvas.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we're going to wrap things up because this is so far a really long interview. I try to keep it down to about a half hour.
How long have we been doing this for? Like an hour almost?
Almost, yeah. So we'll see how people react to that one.
Plus a 30-minute.
Yeah. It's going to be a longer episode, but the last one was only an hour, so we should be okay. But thank you for being on the show, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we got to talk. I hope we get to talk more.
Yeah. we'll keep in better touch from here on out, and
Yeah.
once things get open back up, I'll come visit you. But yeah, thank you. Before we get out of here, how can listeners get in touch with you and follow you along your journey?
I mean, honestly, I'm easy to find. Twitter, Instagram. I'm at Tomsin Music on everything. I check my DMs somewhat frequently. Try not to be on social media too much these days, but I
Dude,
am gonna reply.
that's
Like at some point, you're gonna get a reply, and once I see you message me, like I'm gonna hang out and
yeah.
message you back. Like yeah.
Sweet.
So,
Yeah, that's one thing. One thing that I'm trying to do too. I pretty much only stay logged in on my business accounts, and I might slide over to my personal stuff if I have want to promote a certain thing about my business. But it's all I use social media strictly for business now.
same. It's a tool.
Yeah, which is nice because it's not like I'm on my phone for hours. So, all right, man. Well, I'll let you get going.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Thank you again.
Let's link up sometime.
Yeah, man. I'm down.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.